what's going on, y'all? How y'all doing out there? Welcome to the eye test. And today we are joined by one of my older friends, one of my greater friends, Tyrone Small. How you doing, Ty? Shawn, what's
Pretty
going
good. How you
on?
doing?
What's going on, folks?
How, how y'all doing tonight? Everything good?
Yeah,
Yeah, everything is good tonight.
shoot, I'm
Yeah.
better now, man. I got a little whiskey with me.
Okay, well, that's what's up. Yeah, I mean, you always talking like you got whiskey in you, so ain't nothing new. Talking like you drunk. But anyway, we're going to get into this. Yo, so Ty, man, tell us a little bit about yourself. Like, yo, what's your background? Um, and what's your favorite sports team?
Pretty much, I'm full-time dad now, but my background's pretty much boxing, anything contact sport, mixed martial arts, things like that. Been doing that my whole life, so I don't really have a sports team. I'm a hometown guy. I'm from St. Louis, so Cardinals, the Blues, and I was with the Rams until they bailed on us. So I did root for them in this last Super Bowl just because I had some hometown memories. Be close by. I'm in Vegas, they're in LA, but that's about it. I pretty much watch the contact sports, the mixed martial arts, boxing, whatnot.
All right, best show on turf, St. Louis Rams. Uh, They had
Hey,
they had my
The only
fandom
time they
for
won a Super Bowl.
yeah they had my fandom for a small amount of time. I was a child though, so like you kind of move with the wave until you
Yeah,
find your home.
well, the entire time Marshall Falk was playing there, he was my favorite running back. So that's just that. So
Hey, I messed
oh
with
yeah, for
Isaac
sure.
Bruce, so it is
yeah,
what it
I
is.
still got a Marshall Falk Rams jersey still in the closet.
hey,
Hey man, that's what's
classic.
up. But anyway, so getting into it, that's mostly why we brought Tyrone in. Tyrone should be joining us for any topics that we have in the future when we talked about anything contact sports. So when it comes to mixed martial arts, um, boxing, anything of that nature, we would like to have Tyrone in, kind of like our resident expert, but we just a bunch of regular guys that talk about what we see.
Yeah.
So getting into it, we're gonna go straight into boxing and talk about Tyson versus Roy Jones Jr. Man, this is about to be a real dog fight, in my opinion, because I just have some thoughts about Tyson and his headspace when he boxes. So, so we'll see what really is going to happen. I'm gonna say my opinion for others for last, and I'm gonna let you know what? I'm gonna let Tyrone start it off, man. So tell us, man, how you feeling about this exhibition match?
At first, I thought it was a joke. You can't really trust too much that's going on in the media today. I was like, there's no way. But when you mix the videos of him getting in shape, and as you start trying to fact check the things, you start to see that it's real. So I'm really excited about it. Actually, Tyson's one of my favorite boxers. Uh, and you mentioned his headspace when he boxes. Uh, it's supposed to be an exhibition, but I don't know. I'm, I'm gonna say I'm a little worried for Roy Jones Jr. Like I get it, Roy Jones, he's a legend in his own right, but
Yeah,
he fighting Tyson at what heavyweight?
yeah.
So
I don't know if they fighting that light heavy or what,
I
but
can
I
all
tell
don't
I
you
know
know,
what they
the
fighting
last
at, but
time I
still,
saw the last time I saw Roy Jones move up in weight, we seen what happened to
you gotta
But you
lay
know what?
down.
right,
I'm gonna let you continue with your opinion. Go ahead, man.
right. Like you said, you saw what happened. You put on that extra muscle, you slow down. What I mean? You start to get
Mhm.
tired. That takes calories. It takes energy. But also, I mean, looking at Tyson is not one of those guys who like to go a long time. He comes out in the
Facts.
first couple rounds, he does his damage, and if he don't knock you out by round five, like it's gonna be long drawn out. He's gonna be slowed up, but he's gonna be looking for that headshot. If you look what he did to the Buffalo, the white Buffalo, you know what I mean? Like he was dragging Tyson along, but Tyson he landed that shot. So.
Right.
Roy Jones, though, I don't see Roy Jones sitting in the pocket, sitting in the tire trading blows with him. Roy Jones was a flashy guy. He was in and out. And he's super quick. So we'll see. We'll see how Tyson handles that speed if it's still around. So, but my opinion, I'm giving it to Tyson.
Well, listen, Shawn, what you got to say?
Yeah, but to say you saved yours for last.
Yeah,
man. So,
yeah.
Okay, so
I'm just too excited. My bad. I apologize.
Yeah, no, man. I mean, if you want to go, man,
I'm too excited.
Do your thing, man. You go get off right now, man. Nope. All right, cool. Yeah. So for me, my opinion, I somewhat share his Tyrone's opinion, man. Like, that's the thing, man. Boxing is not a sport that you can just wake up cold turkey and go do. Definitely not after you retired. I've seen over the last year the work that Tyson's been putting in the gym. We've seen the body transformation. Recently, there's a picture that just got posted of him with his shirt off and then him with his shirt off 16 years ago, and it looks almost identical. Like I said, man, we're all watching. We all been watching, just in awe of how crazy it is to see somebody of his age in the shape that he's in with the same amount of speed. Every time we see him swing, everybody cringes like, oh man, I can feel that. It ain't even hit nothing, man. Scary. But I can feel it, man. Okay? To see the power that he still has is amazing. Now, I don't know what Roy Jones has been doing. Matter of fact, I don't know if he's even been in the gym up until the point to where he just said, okay, he challenged me. I'm going to start getting ready now. I feel like that is going to play a huge factor into him, being ready for this fight. Okay, so I'm not going to act like I didn't hear you, Tyrone, when you said the way that you said that Roy Jones was a legend in his own right. I saw that. I saw your facial expression. You try to hide it. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to tell you right now. I have, when it comes to Roy Jones, I have my opinions of him. I also feel like when he did showcase his skill, it was against a lot lesser talent. That's just, I mean, he had some real fights. He had a couple real fights in there. I say about 3 or 4 real fights in there before he started getting knocked out. But the thing about him is he lived off of his speed. He lived off of his speed and his ability to defend against attacks based off of speed. He wasn't a technician defensively the way that Floyd Mayweather is. He was basically the kid that's more athletic than everybody, and that's what he's doing. He's like, I'm not refining my skills. I'm not saying he didn't have boxing skills, but I'm saying he relied heavily on his athletic ability.
Yeah, he wasn't the guy to block you. He was the guy to avoid you, to dip and move.
Yeah,
he wasn't the guy
it's complicated.
To block and time you out.
Yeah,
it's boxing. Now, with that said, if he loses a step, which I have to assume he did, he's in trouble. Because guess what? Tyson doesn't look like he's slowed down very much. And Tyson looks like he still has the same power. I would be really fearful if I was Roy Jones, but I'll tell you what, man, he got some time to get in the gym and get his stuff together. I'm leaning towards Tyson. Hopefully, the only chance that Roy Jones has in my mind is if he somehow is being able to keep his speed, because that's the thing with Tyson, man. It only takes one. It only takes one. And we've seen how much of a problem that could be, even for somebody who has no boxing skills whatsoever, like your boy, your favorite boxer right now. What's his name? Go ahead and say his name, Mark.
Wilder.
Huh?
Wilder.
Deontay Wilder.
That's
man.
His favorite boxer.
Shut up.
All right, fine. Maybe it's not your favorite boxer, but Deontay Wilder's a guy that doesn't really have skill, but he has the ability to knock you out. And guess what? It is a problem.
I hate him as a boxer.
With actual...
don't disrespect me.
Okay, fine. You know what? I apologize.
Don't disrespect me, dog.
But you understand my point.
He'll knock you out, but he can't box.
Wilder seems to be a problem, even though he has no boxing skills, because he has the ability to knock you out. Tyson is the same, except for he actually has skill, man. I just don't see a scenario in which it's going to end well for Roy Jones.
Right,
Okay.
and you gotta factor in the weight. But Tyson's been fighting 225 his whole career. Even if he comes down, it's only giving him more speed, and he's used to being hit by heavier guys. Roy Jones has never been a heavy guy.
And when has anybody ever accused Roy Jones of having a chin?
Hey, I didn't, especially after after Tarver did it to him.
I'm still upset with Roy Jones for the fact that Antonio Tarver exists. You know what I'm saying? I'm still mad that this fool was running around calling himself the legend killer, man. It irks me to know that this man played in the Rocky movie. You know what I'm saying? It was everything, man. Antonio Tarver, everything that I hate about Antonio Tarver is Roy Jones' fault. So maybe I'm biased. I don't know.
All right. Yeah. All right. Can I go?
Go, man. You got it.
All right. Listen, y'all being far too kind to Roy here. You're being far too kind because I'm going to let you know right now. This is like one of those situations where like everybody knows something and you the last one to know. like Roy think he coming into an exhibition match like, oh, this is gonna be fun, me.
Exactly.
Like, cool, yeah. No, nigga, you're stepping into the ring against the killer. This is about to be a problem. This is gonna be the guy that said the guy you about to see is the guy that said, I'm gonna make you love me. Like he said, I'm gonna make you love me, bleep. And like he meant it. Like you saw it in his eyes. It was real. Like this is going to be a real problem. Like I don't know if you guys pay attention or watch the Hot Boxing podcast, or if you've seen his conversation with Sugar Ray Leonard, where he basically he's crying, talking to him about how he's afraid to train in the box because he knows there's a cage animal inside of him waiting to be
I heard him say that to
unleashed.
Joe Rogan.
Yeah, he said
that to Joe. He said, "I don't work out because my ego."
Yeah, he was like that. He called, like he said, my ego. If I was to work out, it would take over, and a beast would be unleashed. He said I don't train and I'm fighting. Like he said to Sugar Ray, I don't train and I'm fighting against myself because I feel like he was like, because I'm crying right now because I feel like a bitch. Like he's like, I don't he's like, I feel like a bitch. Like I'm trying to be humble. I'm trying to. And he was like, but this monster wants to get out. And he was like, and if I let him out, hell's coming with him. Like, can you imagine a man crying? Like, for real, like that he really means this. Like, I'm afraid of that human being. Like, there's very few human beings in reality that I'm afraid of. Like, I'm just afraid to have a conversation with Mike Tyson, let alone be in the ring with him. And Roy's like, yeah, man, this is going to be fun. I saw Roy. I saw Roy in the ring. And like I saw him throwing his jabs. I was like, that ain't gonna cut it, Roy. Like you doing a light work, and you go, and then like if you was to hold them up side by side, like Roy throwing those jabs, and then seeing Tyson in the ring lately, like this dude is looking like the model Tyson. Like he looked like he's in the bag from back in '89. Like this dude, because like if you ask me, under D'Amato, that was the best version of Tyson. His later years, somehow he became like this hit hunter, knockout artist type dude, where he kind of let his boxing skill fall off and became more of I'm trying to take your head off. Whereas
the one punch
earlier,
wonder,
earlier in his career, it was like him taking your head off was secondary to the fact that he was there to box you. Like he was coming in and he was finding a way on the inside and he was going to take you out. And it
I'll
looks
say
like
this.
that Tyson is back, and it looks like that's the Tyson you're going to see in the ring. Tyson might have the intention of this being an exhibition match, and then
No.
like the lights come on, and it's going to be a different dude entirely.
Haven't you ever seen him like the videos of him just play by slap boxing with people?
Yeah,
You ever seen those videos? Like one that comes to mind is him and John Jones slap boxing, and he let him know real quick, like you the champ, but even John was like, oh, that was lights out. He can't even slap. He can't even slap box. Fat Tyson cannot slap box without letting you know that I can knock you out. Exactly. And I think the last exhibition he did, dude had on headgear, and he hit him. Dude was out, and he like lifted him up. Like, nah, you don't make me look like like I'm violent. Like, stand up. It's all good.
Yeah, I don't know what y'all talking about, but I watched Mike Tyson beat up Ip Man, dog.
He said,
so like you don't want to see that problem.
It's funny because when he said videos of Tyson slap boxing, I immediately thought to myself, what kind of human being decides they want to slap box with Mike Tyson? And then he said John Jones, and I'm like, okay, that makes sense. But I'm like, I mean, there can't be too many videos of Tyson slap boxing people.
Yeah, well, you get these fighters, they be feeling themselves, they double champs, and they like, well, I could take him. He old, he's 60, let's go. And the next thing you know, and they like, man. He hit that speed. It's crazy because he got the speed. He duck under, he come up just like he do that duck and roll, and he brings it with mad speed, but he stops it right before he hits him, and then that's what makes people like, oh,
if you look at all his recent videos, if you look at all his recent videos when he's actually explaining, everything is like, yo, I'm not here to throw a bunch of soft tap jabs. I'm not here to throw feints. I'm not here to feel you out with soft punches. I'm here to attack quickly, and I'm here to make every punch a power punch. That's what he's here for, man. And the one thing that
he's there to eat your kids, man. He said
it. The one thing over time that doesn't get talked about very much is his defensive ability. Because he's so aggressive. But then he's also a type of person that I've never seen before, seen before or after, where he can walk you into a corner really fast, have you swinging at him, and he'll duck everything while attacking. Like, he's on the defensive while he's on the offensive. It's a talent that not many people have, man. And like I said, it doesn't get talked about a lot because the knockout is the sexy thing, but I mean, like I said, I don't see any facet of a boxing match at this point from what I've seen from Roy Jones that Roy Jones can win in.
Yeah. Roy must have forgot. Like, that's all I got to say.
Hey, man.
But all right, man. Moving on and keeping it in boxing. Yo, so the exhibition match of this fight is supposed to be Jake Paul and Nate Robinson. Now, Jake Paul is 6'1", and I don't know if you guys seen pictures of him. Jake Paul isn't a small dude. He's been apparently boxing. Like, that's something he's been doing.
Yeah.
He's a YouTube star that's been boxing lately, and Nate Robinson said he's gonna knock his barehead ass out. How tall is Nate Robinson, Shawn?
Dog, if I'm not mistaken, he's listed at like 5'6".
So,
but you can't come off the topic of Mike Tyson and talk about height in a boxing match, bro. Like, Mike Tyson's not tall.
Is Nate Robinson Mike Tyson?
Mike Tyson is a professional boxer who some consider to be the greatest. All right. Yeah. Nate Robinson is a basketball player that happens to be a phenomenal athlete that wants to get his bell rung by a YouTube star. There's levels to this shit.
Yeah, like this is going to be interesting, man. Like, if Nate Robinson wins, I'm gonna be wild. And just to put it in perspective, the person that Jake fought, he knocked him out. Like he won that fight by a knockout. Like so, it's not like he just like they took it to the rounds
Yeah.
and sorry, something popped up. I had to read it. But yeah, it's not like they took it to the rounds and all of a sudden um, he got the unanimous decision. No, it was a knockout. So Duke can apparently knock somebody out. Will he knock out Nate Robinson? I don't know. It seems like these guys, I mean, this could be all promo and fluff just to get us to buy, but it seems like for all these exhibition matches, like they're taking it pretty seriously. So
Right.
I don't know what you
Especially
guys
now.
thought.
I mean, entertainment is entertainment.
Yeah.
Thanks.
All right, man. So, any fights in the UFC that you looking forward to? Any fighters that you see that's like, yeah, pay attention to this guy, or pay when this fight's going to happen? You looking forward to it?
Well, you already know I'm looking forward to the Rose Namajunas Weili fight.
Yeah.
That's one
Rose
I'm
better
looking
get
forward
that
to.
nose fixed first.
Yeah, we had this conversation on the phone after the fight.
That's what
He was doubting my girl. He was doubting her. But another one, I'm not this Daniel Cormier fighting Steve.
Well, no, real quick. I have a question about Thug Rose though, because here's the thing.
Yeah.
This is twice now. I mean, this is twice now that Thug Rose, like when the injury happens, she gets rattled. Like she gets rattled in the moment of the injury. Because the first time was landing on her neck, which ended. Now I understand there was a trauma because of her.
Got her rattled like she was out.
Yeah, well, like I'm talking
That's a little bit more than rattled.
Nah, I'm talking about like when whatchamacallit slammed her or her jaw as like she was so then she lost, like, you know what I mean, after the neck injury, when she got slammed, she got rattled in fear of her neck being re-injured, and that's what caused her to lose the fight. Now, in this fight as well, which was what I said to you, if this fight had went further, I didn't necessarily see her winning because the name escapes me. Maybe you can help me. Who did Thug Rose fight this last fight?
Jessica
Yes.
Andrade.
So when she broke her nose, Rose just completely lost composure, and in her losing composure, she started to get tagged up and started to get roughed up, and you saw like after the fight, like her face was looking pretty rough, and that was just from what happened in the third round. Like if they went further, if those were championship rounds, I don't think she would have won the fourth or the fifth because just of where her headspace was from that point on. And so I'm wondering, how do you feel about that? Like, do you think that if she was to get tagged and rattled, will she be able to recover in her next fight?
So with the neck injury, like we know she broke her neck.
Right.
We had a fracture. So of course, when she got dropped on her neck again, I mean, the first thing to come to anybody's mind is paralyzation, not again.
Right.
You know, we know that shit hurts. So that one I can understand. And she probably was days knocked out. Seen her moving around, but you know, she probably wasn't all there. But with this one, round 3, I mean, it usually happens. I mean, when you watch Rose when she goes in her championship round, she usually takes a round off. Like, you know, when your nose get broke, you know, a lot of things happen. It affects your breathing, affects your sight, you know what I mean? And it will affect, you know, your confidence because you got these punches coming in. You know, your opponent sees that you hurt. There's blood in the water. Sharks are going to swim, you know, so but like I say, at the end of that third round, she brought it back. She brought it back quickly, you know, because she started landing. You don't know what would have happened in the fourth and the fifth. honestly, just me knowing Rose, she only been knocked out one time. She's been submitted. She lost some decisions, but just who Rose is and how she gets down. Uh, I don't know if she would have just been dominated those last 2 rounds. Maybe it would have went to a decision if she hadn't brought it back. But knowing her corner, Trevor Whitman, Pat Barry, when it comes down to striking, they could have brought her right back. I just think she needed to go back. When she got rocked, I think she needed to go back to her support system. Because, she is weirdly a peaceful person that is extremely anxious and nervous. But when she gets in that ring, like it's a whole, or that octagon, it's a whole different thing. So I think she needed to go back to her support system, which Trevor Whitman, and Pat Barry, and they would have talked her right and back into her right headspace, and then I think she would have came out and dominated. Jessica Andrade is a powerhouse. She exerts a lot of energy. One of her main things is clinching you up, slamming you. Her nickname is Power Driver. If you ain't power driving, what are you doing? She ain't never been known to have hands. We got Joanna Jacek, went with her, pieced her up, but she got power. Wei Lee took her out because she got power. And then we got Rose Namajunas, who fought her the first time, was doing her in. And then after that, she got slammed on her head, knocked her out. Second fight, she went in and she outpointed her the same way. So I feel like with Jessica Andrade, unless she gets physical hands and body on body with somebody, she's not really going to outdo an elite striker like Jacek, Wei Lee, or Rose. So I feel at the end of that third round, when she went back to her corner, Trevor Whitman and Pat Barry, they would have brought her back, and she would have came back out with the bread and butter 1s and 2s, and she would have cut those angles, and worked the jab. The jab was working, and if you would look at Andrade, she was trying to do the Mike Tyson peekaboo. She was exerting energy. The only reason she had that burst of energy in the third round, because she, when you fight, anybody who fought, when you start hitting and you start landing and a knockout's close, you get a second win. But once that goes away, it's gone. So I feel like Rose would have been all right in the coming out in the 4th round, 5th round. She would have just had to turn it on, and I feel that Trevor Whitman and Pat Barry would have told her, you got to dig in. You lost that round. You got to dig in. And then we went to the ground. Rose's submission on us too. So
who
knows? But I am worried about Wei Lee, because Wei Lee is a powerhouse. She transformed Joanna, and she put she turned her to a light bulb head, and then Jessica Andrade, she was able to put lights out. 2 things that Rose was not able to do. So we'll see. But I'm excited about that fight.
That's dope. All right, cool. Shawn, anything?
Oh man, y'all covered most of it, man. But just generally speaking, when it comes to fighters, I'll say specifically mixed martial artists, like we've seen what happens when people aren't used, or not used to, but when people don't like being hurt, and we see what happens to them. You got 2 choices, man. You either gotta get better, you gotta get tougher, or you disappear really fast. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not just your opponent in that fight at that time that smells blood in the water. It's all your future opponents. They're like, wait a minute, I see a weakness. You know what I'm saying? If I get them hurt real quick, if I can hurt them, then I got a chance. Now you got people walking into fights having confidence against you where there wasn't confidence there before. And that's a dangerous thing, is when now everybody has confidence against you in a fight. It's kind of a problem. That's what happened to Ronda. You know what I mean? That was it, man. Once that fear factor is gone, that's it. You can't. That's something that's hard to get back. Once people stop fearing you, it's hard to get that back. So
it's kind of rough when everybody's bearing down on you aggressively in the ring. Like once upon a time, they used to wait it out. Now they just like, I'm coming at you.
It just in general in sports, I've talked about this a lot. Is once you start to build up a certain amount of steam, sometimes whether it be football or basketball, teams or individuals will play you scared. They're already scared before they get in there. Intimidation is a big part of fighting. I mean, Tyson If you talk about Tyson, people were fearful of him before they even got in the ring. And then when the bell rings and this dude is jogging at you and backing you into a corner, the fear instantly becomes real. It's no longer fear anymore; it's reality. So, but on the other hand, you have fighters that are, hey, I'm gonna rely on power and I'm gonna rely on physicality. Okay, and generally speaking, if you're a person that likes to grab people, if part of your game requires taking people down or wrestling, then what happens is you better learn how to strike, and you better learn how to strike quickly. You better learn how to defend against striking. You know, if that's a problem for you, it's never gonna go away. You know, it's one of those things. It's like I have to get close to you to grab you. Punches are gonna be coming. You know, you got to develop a chin. You got to develop some type of defense. You got to figure out that thing, or you got to just figure out to say, you know what, if they're gonna defend against me by just striking, then fuck it, man. I'll stand up and strike with them. You know, so should be an interesting situation. It's all I like to watch fights where you have a clash of styles. So that's something that should be interesting.
All right. So yeah, you were speaking before I took us back to Rose. You were talking about some other fighters that you may be interested in.
Well, no, I was saying the next big pay-per-view fight on UFC coming up is Daniel Cormier and Stipe.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not interested because I already know what's going to happen. First fight, what happened? Daniel Cormier coming off an ego trip with John Jones, sunning him. You know what I mean? A couple times. So he felt like I needed to knock people out. So he fought with Stipe, and he did that. Give him props. But you took that rematch. You're not as bad as you thought you were. So we already know what's going to happen. We already stand. DC came to terms with himself. It was like, I'm not that dude. I mean, I can knock people out, but I probably don't want to box with a guy who's taller than me and has longer reach than me. And so what he's going to do this fight, he already said it in the interviews. About Stipe, I wouldn't even take the fight because he's just going to out wrestle him. He's just going to wrestle him. He's going to lay on him, wrestle him, grind him out.
Yeah.
So, I mean, to all you out there who are going to pay for that fight, have fun because there's going to be a boring main event. Unless Stipe comes out of the corner and, been working his takedown defense, which any fighter who has heard his opponent say he's going to out wrestle him should do, and catches him on the chin again. So, but I'm ready to see DC like do full-time commentary, and I'm ready to see him exit stage left.
Listen, man, I don't want to. It's funny you mentioned DC as a commentator. I'm fairly annoyed at DC as a commentator because I swear to God, every time there's a light heavyweight that knocks another contender out.
John Jones better watch out. John Jones better watch
exactly. Every single time. Like
John Jones is back.
Like, yo, this dude wants John Jones to lose so goddamn bad. Like, and it's just crazy because the amount of hate that he has for that man, like, he won't let it go. Like, dog, you couldn't beat him. So now don't be the champion for everybody else, hoping that they do what you couldn't do. Let it go, man. That shit is nuts.
Look, man, this is what I have a question for you. Tyrone will definitely know. How many times have they fought?
3.
DC.
Yeah, DC and John Jones.
3.
How many times were they supposed to fight?
They were supposed to fight a bunch.
They were supposed to fight like 5 different times. Look, man. Yeah. This is what I'm gonna say, man. There are people out there that believe that if it wasn't for John Jones being in the way, DC would be considered greatest heavyweight of all time.
The greatest heavyweight?
Well, yeah. I mean, for heavyweight class, I mean, I guess he would be. I mean, he has more title defenses. He's a double champ. So for the heavyweight division, he would be the greatest heavyweight champion of all time. I mean, we got to look back. I mean, we got to go back to some older UFCs, like Randy Couture and all those other guys.
But people consider him. People He's one of the guys that's out of the bigger fighters that fight in the top 2 weight classes. He's one of the guys that's, if you look at throughout history, even though he's kind of shorter than a lot of guys, like he's very technical. He finds ways to win. He does all these things. He does everything the right way, so to speak, except for when it comes to John Jones. And when he, you know what I'm saying, he don't even do his interviews right, man. Anyways, he's
turned around backwards, faced the wrong way.
This dude cried I hate to make fun of somebody crying, but he cried and said, "I guess it ain't a rivalry, man." I keep losing.
All right, man. This man would get all the accolades in the world if John Jones didn't exist, okay?
He would get all the accolades in the world if he just shut up about John Jones. Like, people would shoot him bail about that loss if he stopped talking about it. He keeps talking about John.
That loss. All the losses.
Look, man, but either way, my point is, this man has had one thing in his way. One thing in his way. And it's just that one person, John Jones, and it's very much so in the forefront of his mind, and he understands everything that he could have if he wasn't there, okay? So guess what? This man's psyche is completely damaged from his fights with him, man. Like, imagine
that's his fault.
Dominating everybody else, and then you fight this one guy, and he beats you, and you're like, you know what? I'm going to go back, work on my game, go dominate everybody else, and you come back to him again, and you get beat again. And then you say, you know what? I'm going to go work on my game for a little bit longer. And you go and you dominate, and people are touting you to be, oh, man, he's ready. I can't wait to see him fight John Jones. And in his mind, he actually thought he was ready, man. And it wasn't even close. It might have been the worst one. Look, I'm just saying, man, like, as a fighter that has an ego and that has all this arrogance and all this stuff, like, his confidence was completely – that man cried in the ring, man. That man has PTSD. You can't blame that man for being in the commentary booth, talk about, oh, man, he's in trouble, Man, you know what he did to that man. He fractured his
But it's his fault. It's his fault because he came out like John Jones a dirtbag because of his personal life, and I'm going to be the person to bury him for the fans. And he put himself in a situation that he shouldn't have did, because everybody who wants to judge John Jones for his personal, decisions stood behind him like he was like the Superman, like he's going to be the guy that brings karma to John Jones. And it didn't happen. You look stupid, and then you look stupid at the end of the day.
The good guys lose it.
It does not get you the dub.
And I feel like in his psyche, that's what he was doing. He was thinking like, good things happen to good people and I do everything right. You know what I mean? And he's a bad person. So, I'm the chosen one to bring him the karma because I do everything right. I'm the company man, I'm a family man. I don't do drugs, I don't sleep around. And this is the way my parents taught me, like, you do right and right things happen. And 3 times that shit didn't happen. So I feel like it messed up not only his fighter psyche, I think it messed up the way he looks at the world.
That's not even understanding.
Yo, I used to love watching his interviews, like when he was the interim champ, because John was off coking up and shit. Like, did you ever watch how tightly he clinged to that belt in every interview? Like, that joke was like this every time he had a conversation. I was like, this dude is like mentally.
What got me is he's like, you spit in my face, I'll kill you. He's like, you think I'm gonna let you kill me, John? You think I'm gonna let you kill me? He's like, yo, that's his comeback. I was like, he's done. Like, on the psychological part, he's done. Like, hey, you don't say that. Like,
imagine a person that's been in your way, taking time off because he out here getting coked up, getting in car wrecks and shit. They got him testing positive a bunch of times. This man, John Jones was gone for what, a year and a half? This man comes back essentially cold turkey. I mean, you keep saying he lost to John Jones. John Jones beat him. This man destroyed him. These were not regular losses, man. These were like Anderson Silva in his prime losses, like the opponent never had a chance losses.
Right.
Those are horrible. Imagine walking around with a belt for X amount of years, 3 years or some shit like that. He had it for, and then all of a sudden, this dude wake up cold turkey off of a coke binge and beat your brains in. That has to demoralize you.
Straight out of jail. He came straight out of jail. He didn't even go home. He came straight out of county and went straight to the locker room and whooped you, bro.
The best way to sum this shit up was that DC called John a junkie, and John just implied this junkie's going to beat your ass, and left it at that. And DC said nothing. So that like
he threw a water bottle at John, bro. He threw a water bottle.
Well, real quick to end this, since we get back to the original topic.
Yeah, because we can go all day. I'm sorry.
This DC fight. You said Daniel Cormier, and I immediately said I don't want to see it. That's where I'm at with Daniel Cormier. He shouldn't be fighting at all. I think he should have stopped a year before he stopped. But it is what it is.
Hey, man.
I even looked at the undercard to see if there was anything worth buying. Maybe the co-main. Nothing. Nope. They got Sean O'Malley. I mean, I am watching Sean O'Malley. He a different cat. I like his swag. I like his fight style, but it's not enough to pay to watch.
All right. Well, that's where we at with it. All right, cool. So we're gonna switch gears. Take it into the MLB. Because, because sports is back and going well so far, at least we thought it was. Everything looked great until the Phillies and the Marlins series. Prior to the series, one Florida player tested positive and he did not play in the game. After the second game or whatever, 4 players tested positive, and then the next day after that, 14 players tested positive. And I believe now we're at 17 players testing positive for COVID-19. This has gotten to the point to where basically the Marlins have to forfeit their season. And I do not think that this is their choice. I think this is more so because with everything happening, that like their next series that they were supposed to play, the players took a vote and said, nah, they don't want to go to Florida, nor do they want to play the Marlins, which is perfectly within their right. So it's looking like already sports has an issue with what could happen. Where do they go from here? And why didn't the MLB have an answer for this? I mean, they spent all this time arguing over the dollars and cents of the matter with the players. They didn't figure out what's the protocol to happen if players test positive and what you're going to do if they do test positive and how you're going to approach those situations. It's all kind of weird to me. But, I mean, I'm going to just ask y'all, would y'all go to Florida right now? Either one of you.
Man, that's an easy no. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't go to Florida. Do you got anything else? Because I got some stuff to say. Do you got anything else?
Nah, man, knock yourself out. Say what you gotta say.
Okay, man. So really quickly, this is another case, man. I don't know how much you've been paying attention to baseball.
I don't.
I figured so. The commissioner that has come after Bud Selig, who I thought was trash the whole time he was the commissioner, Rob Manfred, he's been doing a lot to try to innovate the game and trying to, move away from the old school way of thinking of just saying, hey, tradition is tradition, we keep everything the same. He's kind of been moving away from that, but trying to do it in a respectful manner to the baseball purist. So once again, we had this conversation, Mark, about the NBA trying to be the innovator at all costs. And I feel like this is another situation where the MLB is like, you got Rob Manfred is like, well, I'm an innovator too. We gonna if NBA can figure it out, then we gonna figure it out too. So it's one of those situations. But once again, not enough thought is being put into this. You had a guy that tested positive a day, like a day before a game, he doesn't play. Didn't hear nothing about no quarantining any of the players that they had contact with.
Right.
Surprise, surprise. Now some more people are sick. They tested positive. Now the
Luckily,
crazy
though, somehow, even though they played the series against the Phillies, no Phillies player has so far tested positive.
But here's the fallout from that. The Phillies' next series, their next series, is postponed because of it. So now they're like, okay, and now they're finally getting to the point where like, okay, well, we don't like no Philly players have tested positive yet, but this thing is clearly just running through the Marlins locker room. There's a chance that a Phillies player might test positive 2 days from now. We don't want that to happen in the middle of a series, and then they're trying their best trying to shut down the entire season. So yes, now preemptively they're saying, you know what, let's postpone the Phillies games. So that's already happened just off of the Marlins situation. But Florida in general, I'm trying to figure this out, man. Florida has been, since anything past the first month, Florida has been the hot spot for the United States for COVID-19.
Well, I mean, they outright scoffed at it. So,
look, man, I'm just saying, New York was doing numbers, and Florida was like, "Watch this, man. Watch this." Y'all thought, man, the home of Florida, man. Come on, man, we got this. We got this. So now, Florida's been the hotbed for the past. It's not something new. It's been like the past 3 months. They've been the hotbed, and somehow it becomes the location for the NBA. It becomes
right.
becomes a location where 17 players on one of their teams become sick. Like, I don't know, man. Florida needs to get this stuff together. If I'm playing any sports right now and they mention a Florida team name, I'm not messing with it. I don't blame the players for the opposing team saying, look, man, we just not playing those fools. Like, it is what it is. MLB, y'all don't got a process in place to handle this type of situation clearly. So therefore, we'll handle it ourselves. We ain't playing.
Yeah. So you have any words, Ty?
The whole situation is just screwed up. I mean, the way they handling the whole situation. I mean, with the coronavirus going around, it being extremely contagious, we see sports trying to come back. Some of these sports can do that. You can do that with boxing, and you can do that with mixed martial arts, because you have a single person, and the team practices how they feel, quarantine, whatever. Like we were talking about Max Holloway. Max Holloway did his quarantine and he trained over Zoom,
Right.
So he did his whole training camp for this last fight he had over Zoom. And if he had a tested positive, he didn't infect everybody else. When you have sport teams, these guys travel together, they practice together, and they play together. I don't know. I think it's just an impossible task to be able to control this coronavirus thing, because if you do have a person who tests positive for it, symptoms may not show up until 14 to 10 days later. However, they change the days whenever they feel like it, but it may not show up. So one guy can sit the game out, but this other guy is asymptomatic. We don't know. So what are we going to do? You're going to do a coronavirus test every time you do a game. That takes time. That costs money. I don't know. I just think, I know everyone wants these sports to come back, but it might be a little bit too soon, especially in Florida and other places that are hotbeds.
Right.
So,
well, my thought on that is that it may be too late for baseball. Baseball might be done. But this is a perfect segue into what I wanted to talk about next, which was, I don't feel as though it's too late for football. I think seeing what's going on in baseball and seeing what's going on, like, and how that spread. I think the players that weren't going to take this whole thing seriously, they are going to take it seriously now. Like there's like I'm pretty sure that if you did the contact tracing thing with how that spread like that, you'll find out that a player was in Florida wilding somewhere. He was in the bar somewhere in Florida, even though he wasn't thinking about his team. He wasn't thinking about anybody else, you know, because in general, us Americans, we're just selfish people like that. So we don't think about anybody else. And he wasn't thinking about the big picture about, so he was out in Florida. Florida's the hotbed, and he was doing his thing. And he came in and affected everybody because he was out there in the world doing all that stuff. But I think that now that we've seen this happen, we've seen it, the players seen it, players across all sports is seeing it. I think in the NFL, even if the NFL chooses not to do any type of bubble situation, they might be a better off still because they may keep it, like, players might be smarter about it and keep it, like, if they can get the players on board to be like, look, man, we got 3 months. I need you guys to stick to your family, like your immediate family, and like the supermarket, and then go and coming to work. You might be okay. Like don't, like, as long as you're not out in the bars and the clubs and everything, then you could keep that at a minimum if you could keep focused on the task at hand and making that paycheck. I think somebody didn't keep that focus, and that's how baseball got to where it is. But yeah, so but moving forward, we're going to talk about a place where somehow it's magically working. This is the dirtiest bubble I've ever seen in my life, but the bubble is holding steady. NBA has, across 300 plus players and however many staff, zero cases of COVID-19. So the bubble's holding steady despite Lou Williams' best efforts to not have that be the case.
Man.
Lou Williams decided, it's, you know what, Shawn, it's funny that this actually happened because we talked about before about the food, and Lou Williams was in Magic City, and what was one of the things that he cited? They got really good food there. So he breaks the bubble to go to a strip club. I mean, he was on an excused absence, but then he went to a strip club and just had some wings. Maybe the food was just that bad, you know? Maybe the food was just that bad that he couldn't stand it. And he was like, I got to go to Magic City to get something to eat.
It's crazy to me that strip clubs are open.
I know they were open, man. They're not open.
Right. Me neither.
Some of them got drive-through strip clubs. Y'all don't got drive-through strip clubs in Las Vegas? I would have thought.
No.
I would have thought y'all would have been the innovators, dog.
And the first week they shut everything down, I thought it was coming. I thought it was coming, but it didn't happen. So I don't know, man. That should tell you something. Maybe strip clubs shouldn't be open, Georgia.
Hey, man, Lou Williams. That whole thing is crazy. Lou Williams is an absolute legend. I'm just like, because I mean, you guys are familiar with Lou Williams, right? Like he's in a relationship with 2 women, and he's been in that relationship for a long time, correct? Like,
yes, it's been years. Yeah.
So this dude is insatiable, apparently. He got 2 girls at home already, and somehow still needs to go to Magic City.
Hey, you know what Hov said? Never go Eric Benet, you know? but but I will say this, like, okay, man. So he decided, you know what? I'm just gonna stop. I'm gonna make a pit stop in Atlanta to go to Magic City. You know, it's on the way. It's on the way to Orlando. Let me stop there. Let me tell you something. This is the only way it could have went down, Mark. It's the only way it could have went down. He probably was hungry. Probably was in Atlanta. When you're in Atlanta, you're gonna be thinking about strip clubs, man. You're gonna, you know what I'm saying? The strip clubs in Atlanta are different. They're not like everywhere else, you know. If you guys understand what I'm saying. And I'm sure he was thinking, you know what, I'm hungry, you know, strip club, you know what, man, let me kill two birds with one stone, right? So then he probably goes in there, you know, and he's like, you know, they do have good food, you know, man, maybe this is gonna be a problem. You know what? I'll make sure that I take something to go. Because he could have ate it in there. I'm take it, you know what I'm saying? But no, let me get it to go just in case somebody sees me. You know, I'll have an alibi. You know, but the fact that he thought for a second that getting caught walking outside of Magic City with a plastic bag in his hand, I can't, like, he thought that was going to be an excuse. I was there for the food, man. Let me tell you something. I don't know if any of y'all would try to use that excuse with your old lady. Look, I was just there for the wings. I don't know if that works with y'all's, but it's not gonna work with mine. But the fact that it was Lou Williams blew me, because I'm like, yo, you mean to tell me J.R. Henny Smith wasn't the guy? It wasn't J.R. Smith?
No.
Oh man, I was slightly disappointed. But your boy Lou Williams is wild for even telling them that I was there for the food.
Yo, I have an off-topic question though. Why is it like that strip clubs have good food? Like, this shouldn't be a thing. Like, Treasures out in Las Vegas, that's a 4-star restaurant. Like, like for real, like that's a legitimate.
I don't care.
Like, that's a
If they got
legitimate
good food or not.
4-star restaurant. Like, that's crazy, right?
I'm not eating where naked people are, bro. I don't care what kind of food you got. I've never had strip club food.
I'm one of these people that just believes, like, I can't look 5 feet to my right and see wings being served, and then look 5 feet to my left and seeing a pole being wiped down by a wet cloth.
Right.
Hey, man.
I don't know how that registers in your brain, but it registers a little differently in mine, man. I don't know.
We're on the same page.
Yeah, well, and what, like, to be fair, Treasures, and I think it's Treasures in Las Vegas. The joke,
to be
like,
fair,
there's a glass that separates the restaurant from the from the strip club.
nah.
Like, but you can
Nah,
see, but you can see the strip club on the other side of the glass.
I will. Way too much thought got put into that, man. That's my opinion.
I mean, that's what I heard from a former supervisor. Like,
no. Yeah, former supervisor.
Yeah, look.
Don't edit this out.
Some people know my resume. I wouldn't lie about that. If I did it, I wouldn't.
You know your resume.
Know.
That's why we chuckling over there.
Right.
So, but yeah, man. I don't really know, man, but I'm excited for sports, man. I'm excited for anything that is coming up. Like, it's content, it's something to do other than, like, just watch, like, our world fall apart. And, like, it's some semblance of normalcy. Hopefully football can keep this together. Because, like, man, football is my favorite sport. I know it's yours as well, Shawn. But so I'm hoping that they can move forward without anybody becoming knuckleheads all of a sudden. But like a 53-man roster is kind of hard to keep together and keep people from doing some nut shit that'll get everybody messed up. So I don't know, but it's going to be an interesting ride. We have about 6-7 weeks before we can get to any actual real games in football. So they have plenty of opportunity to fuck this up. So, but I don't really have anything else to talk about today. Oh no,
Don't forget it.
Sorry.
Well,
Sorry,
before,
man.
how about this? Before you even get to that, I gotta address you thinking about these NFL players not being knuckleheads, nobody really messing it up. Let's keep it a buck. First off, players can't even keep themselves from shooting people at barbecue Domino's games, okay?
And they can't. Oh, you're right. You're absolutely right. These players can't.
You just froze up. You just froze up. Go ahead. What's up?
Yeah, we good.
All
But
right.
yeah, you're right. These players can't keep themselves from robbing people. Like, you're making money. Like, why are you robbing
Right.
people?
Why be robbing? Selling drugs, bro. Like
Did
selling
somebody,
drugs.
I'm pretty sure, did somebody rob a bank? Am I missing something? Did
No,
somebody rob
that might have happened. I don't know. These NFL players are wild.
Well, $40,000 robbing somebody of $40,000 at a Domino's game is enough. But
Yeah.
I will say this: so you got
What kind of
players.
Domino's game was that? Like, was that at a speakeasy? Like, was that a Domino's game? Like, what?
Hey, Gilbert Arenas
Why was
must
it
have been
so
there.
high stakes?
Gilbert Arenas must have been there. Yeah, he must have had something to do with it. But what I'm saying is, you got the players that are knuckleheads and all, like, you can't control that, right? There's too many people. These guys are gonna do crazy things. You've seen they was robbing people after a month and a half of no football, and then now you have the NFL, the actual executives that don't know their head from their ass either. So you mean to tell me that you got faith in between the players and the executives? You have faith that nobody's going to mess anything up? I have zero faith, brother. Zero faith that this NFL season is going to happen. But let's continue. Now we can talk about the final topic, man.
Okay, so final topic, man. Speaking of NFL players, Keenan Allen. Do you have Keenan Allen's tweet at all? What he said exactly? But yeah.
I don't have the exact tweet, but I remember it pretty good. He tagged, he added Chris Godwin, he added Tyreek Hill, and he added Mike Evans, and he specifically said that he's a better route runner. Or I'm not going to say better route runner. He said he gets more separation than those guys, and then he proceeded to say that he is a better receiver than those guys. So I'm guessing he was basing that off the fact that he gets better separation.
So here's my question. Like, obviously, this is a eye test moment because there is no in front of you analytics that will tell you, well, this guy gets this amount of separation. So like, so you're a Keenan Allen fan, to put it lightly. So you feel as though he gets better.
Don't play me, son. Go ahead.
You get better He gets better separation than these other guys.
This is what I will say. And I'll keep it real simple. When it comes to route running abilities, he is better than them. When it comes to separation, it's tricky because to me, if you're going to speak about separation, there's two ways to get separation. You give them some moves and you get open, or you just outrun them, okay?
Right.
And in that case, nobody gets more separation than Tyreek Hill because Tyreek Hill actually has the ability to run routes. Maybe he might not be the crispest. He might not have the most crisp routes in the league, but he doesn't need it because he's fast, okay? So I'm not going to let him get away with saying that he gets more separation than Tyreek Hill. It's an argument. It's arguable to say whether or not he gets more separation than Chris Godwin. Chris Godwin is another guy that just who has a lot of speed, and that's how he gets his separation. Mike Evans is a guy that doesn't get separation.
But he doesn't need it.
He doesn't need it. No,
he's a 50-50 ball king.
Like, yeah. So I mean, you bragging about how you get more separation than Mike Evans means nothing to me. That's what I'll say. Now, to address the receiver comments, being a better receiver, me personally, I feel like your route tree matters. Your route tree matters when it comes to being a great receiver. Your hands matter. Your ability to catch in traffic and catch 50-50 balls matters. That's why I feel like he's not better than Tyreek. People don't give Tyreek credit for catching those 50-50 balls because it doesn't look as sexy because he's short. Right. But I would have to say he's the best 50-50 ball catcher out of the little guys since Steve Smith.
Well, do you consider AB a little guy?
I do. He's not 6 foot.
So you're saying that Tyreek Hill is a better 50-50 ball catcher than
right
AB?
Now. I'm talking about in the league. Who is he? Okay. AB not playing.
Okay. In the league, fine. You get the bail. You get the bailout from that.
That's what I said. I said in the league. All right. Okay. We ain't seen AB on the field in the year. Okay. That's what we're doing. But yeah, that's why I put them. You know, they are in for the record, they're the same height. Him and AB are 5'11". Now with that said,
Tyreek, that's all?
Yeah.
He looks like he's like 5'9".
I know, man. I know. But that's what I'm saying.
That speed is deceptive. That speed makes you think he's shorter than what he is.
Crazy, man. That thing nasty. But yeah, no, but I personally think he's a better receiver than the other two guys. I would say if you want to argue Mike Evans being a better receiver, I'll allow that argument to happen. Just because I did call him a one-trick pony. Real quick, shout out to 750, 750 debate group. This is where the question first, where the post came from. Ricky Scott.
Shout out to Ricky.
Thanks for the post, man. And I did on there say that Mike Evans was a one-trick pony. Maybe I was embellishing a little bit. Maybe I was getting
keep that same energy. Don't
no, I'm still keeping the same energy. hey, Mark, I said I will allow people to have the argument of Mike Evans. I didn't say I think he's better. I told you that I think he's better than Mike Evans and you think he's better than Chris Godwin. And the reason why I think he's better than the reason why I think
stop.
Are you gonna let me explain why I think he's better?
No.
Why not?
Because you saying you would take Keenan Allen over Mike Evans?
Right now, no. The only reason why I wouldn't take him over Mike
Evans. Your true answer just about came out. You was going to say no. I heard it.
I heard it. Hey, Mark, if you're gonna ask me if I'm gonna take a guy who is 2 years younger that doesn't have the health problems that Keenan Allen has, then yes, I'm going to take the younger guy that doesn't have the problems that Keenan Allen has. They're close enough in talent to where I would take Mike Evans over Keenan Allen. That plays a factor.
Listen, I'm taking Mike Evans over Keenan Allen if you took the age away. I would probably take
any injuries.
I probably take him. You want to know why? You want to know why?
Explain to me.
Because Mike Evans made Jameis Winston look great at times. Mike Evans made Johnny Football look great. Like, Mike Evans is great. His one trick is like Deontay Wilder's knockout punch. It don't matter, dog. It don't matter. It don't matter. But my one trick is going to dominate everybody. I don't care. Yes, I'll take the one trick guy that, what are you going to do? I'm going to catch it. There's nothing you could do about it. Get out my face.
See, now this is where I have to make this argument because I didn't get this far in the Facebook discussion. But Mike Evans is going to give you some games where, like I said, if the quarterback does not have time, if the quarterback is being pressured, if there's a situation to where Mike Evans can't run down the sideline and get the one-on-one, what are you doing? Because You can put Keenan Allen in the slot. You can put him anywhere on that field at receiver, and he can play that position. You can say, I need my 50-50 guy to bail me out. And guess what? If the only thing that's open is that 5-yard in route, you can move Keenan Allen over there and say, run that 5-yard in, and he'll go get that for you. I cannot guarantee you that Mike Evans is going to be able to do that.
I can. Just put it high. Like,
Just
don't throw it at his chest. That's all you got to do.
If it was that easy, he would never have any of these games where he has 3 catches for 50 yards and no touchdowns.
Listen, everybody has 3 catches and 50. Come on, man. Stop that.
Bruh. This is what I want you to do. I want you to do some research, Mark. We don't even have to discuss it here. You don't even got to do the research now. I want you to look at how many games that Mike Evans, I want you to look at the peaks and the valleys, because that's what you're going to get with Mike Evans. You're going to get games where he does 2 catches, and you're going to get games where he gets 5 or 6 catches.
Listen.
And those 2 catch games is going to kill you.
Fair. That's not fair, given who his quarterback was.
I don't want to see no 2 catch games, 3 catch games when Tom Brady's throwing the twin.
Yeah, that's fair.
I'm not.
That's fair.
If I do, I'm gonna come looking for you.
All right, come look for me. I'll be here. You know where I live.
Because I'm gonna tell you right now, the one thing that is in common with the quarterbacks that have been throwing to Mike Evans his whole career is those guys had an arm for a deep ball, which Tom Brady is not throwing right now, but that's cool. Mike Evans is a 50-50 anywhere guy, Mark. That's what you're telling me. It shouldn't matter. It shouldn't matter.
Should not. No, sir.
All right.
So, sir, Tyrone, man, you care to weigh in at all? Are you familiar with Keenan Allen?
No, you got me beat on that, bro. I'm just laughing, y'all.
All right. Well, that's what's up. But look, man.
Want to talk about
since the Rams left St. Louis, I ain't really watched football.
All right. Did you want to talk about the Chiefs players talking about 7 rings?
Yeah, we can get it. That's a quick topic. Like the likelihood of that it's not very high. 7 rings, like, come on, man. The likelihood of that isn't very high. Now, from a personal standpoint, I don't like it because it gives me Vince Young yelling "Dream Team" for the Eagles vibes. It gives me LeBron talking about not 2 rings, not 3 rings, not 4, not like it gives me all these vibes of arrogance. But at the same time, I look at that roster and I look at it like currently, and I'm like, yo, if they stay healthy, these dudes is bad. Like, cause they all young. I mean, how many of them are even kissing 30? Like, I know Tyron Matthew is kissing 30, but but even he's like what, 28? So
he's like probably like 28, 29. I mean, he got to be close to 30. He might actually already be 30. I don't know, but he's not. He can't be. He's right there. Chris Jones is a little bit older than the rest of the roster, and he's in his mid to late 20s. Like all those guys are young. You're right, man. They definitely have time on their side. They have
28
time. Huh?
Tyron Matthews 28.
Yeah, okay. They have time on the side, all that stuff, man. Man, this is the thing. This is the NFL, man.
Chris Jones is 26, so he's not even that old.
No, that's what I'm saying. He's older than the rest of the young guys. Like, he's older than Tyreek Hill. He's older than Patrick Mahomes. He's the old young guy, and he's only 26.
Got it.
And he's only 26. That's what I'm saying. Like, they have a young team. You know what I'm saying? Think about it. Is one of the – Kelsey is probably, like, the oldest person that they have. Like,
yeah,
by far. You know what I mean? And he's not old. So, but, yeah, like, that's the thing. The arrogance kills me, man. The arrogance kills me. This is the NFL. Dude, this is any given Sunday. They don't just say that shit for no reason, man. And then you're painting a target on your back. As a we get a reminder every single season that anybody can beat you, and because every single season the Dolphins beat the Patriots. Every single season, man, we get a reminder. So, to walk out there and paint such a huge target on your back like this before the season starts is insane. You're already going to get everybody's best shot because you're the champs, and then now you put a little extra on it. Well, now people are going to hit you a little extra hard. People are going to give you that little extra oomph when they're on the field. And my problem with what they're saying is everything hinges on Patrick Mahomes' health. Everything.
Yeah.
He missed some games last year. They started off the season 6-4. He came back. They went 6-0, and they freaking made a run and won the rest of their games. You know what I mean? I'm saying it kind of like that, but I think he lost at least one game when he came back. But you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, he showed up and they took off and they ran with it. Like, everything hinges on Patrick Mahomes' health. And the people that are talking ain't Patrick Mahomes. That's where I really have the problem. So, 7, I don't think so. If there was ever a team that could threaten for that, it's this team. But it's the NFL. I just don't see it, man. People catch up every year.
Yeah, things change every year, but I don't think there's any catching up to what is seemingly the young GOAT, Patrick Mahomes, man. That dude is redefining the position.
I'm not even going to say redefining. He just perfected it. But
yeah,
at an early age.
That's the scary part. Like third year.
He's doing things now that guys don't figure out till they're 30 at quarterback.
It's nuts, man. So
yeah. With
that said, Ty, you have anything that you want to address sports wise, football, boxing, anything?
No, I think we covered it all, brother.
All right, cool. All right, so I want to touch on this, but I'll save it for next time. But I want you guys to look it up. But so as you guys remember, Andy Ruiz Jr. Lost to Anthony Joshua because, just let's call a spade a spade. He showed up fat as hell to the fucking fight. Like, he should have won. He would have won probably if he was in any type of shape because he exposed Anthony Joshua for filth. But
Anthony Joshua got served some paternity papers probably because he wasn't himself, bro. Like, he even came out like he just failed the paternity test. Like, the kid is his. Like,
man.
Yeah, he wasn't. He wasn't there.
But Andy Ruiz.
That's a cause for concern for me. But yeah.
Andy Ruiz, did he have does he have a rematch clause at all with Anthony? Because you should check out these videos, man. Andy is he's slim thick, dog.
Stop it, man.
Pause, yo.
Thank you. Come on, man.
Man.
You could have just said this man looks like he's ready to fight. That's all you had to say, man. You ain't got to give nobody no visuals or nothing. But yes,
man.
But yeah, Joshua's a whole other topic for another day.
Yeah, I'll say this.
Exposed. I feel like that's a correct answer. I feel like he's been exposed in his last 2 fights. It's almost like I'm watching the humble version of the downfall of a boxer, the humble version of what's his name, Adrian Broner. You're watching the potential that we all thought it was, and you're watching it crumble really quickly before your eyes. Maybe I should give him another shot, but there's certain things that appear to you as troublesome, like a lack of a will to fight.
Yeah.
Which
I need to know what that's
saw
about. I need to know what that was
last
about.
two-
Yeah, that was
last two
weird.
fights, man. But go
Very
ahead. We
weird,
talk about
man.
that next time, man.
But look, that's all I got for today, guys, man. Tyrone, thank you for joining us. Definitely hope to see you in future episodes.
Yeah.
Sure.
Sean, you know what it is.
Yep.
Always a pleasure having a conversation with you and debating you. All right, guys. And for those that are listening and or watching, thank you for joining in. Appreciate it. That's it for us tonight. Peace.
Deuces.
Peace.